Today we're going to read the story called Not Norman, a goldfish story. So this right here is Norman. When I got Norman, I didn't want to keep him. I wanted a different kind of pet. Not Norman. Oh, look at him. He doesn't like Norman. I wanted a pet who could run and catch, or one that could climb trees and chase strings. A soft, furry pet to sleep in my bed at night. Not Norman. All Norman does is swim around and around and around and around and around and around. That's it, Norman, I decided. I'm trading you in for a good pet. Norman didn't move. He didn't even twitch his fins. How can I trade him like this? No one will want a sorry-looking fish in a gunky bowl. So I took Norman's little fish tank and I cleaned it nice and clean. Then he started flipping and flapping his wings around. He looked so goofy, I had to laugh. Don't think just because you made me laugh that I'm going to keep you, I told him. Tomorrow you're out of here. And Norman blew bubbles. Look at, he's so happy his fish tank is clean now. The next day, I took Norman to school with me. If I talk him up real good during show and tell, maybe somebody will want him. On the way there, we saw my friend Austin. Austin has a really cool dog and 7 puppies. Want to swap one of your pups for Norman, I asked. Who's Norman, said Austin. My goldfish, I said. But by the time I was able to rescue Norman, half of his water was gone. Look at the puppies are drinking Norman's water. Oh no. I'm sorry, I told Norman when we got to school. I'm really sorry. And he just stared at me with all his googly eyes. Finally, it's my turn at show and tell. Just as I start to talk about my goldfish, Emily shouts, Jenny's gone. Who let my snake loose? Look at, so he fills up his fish tank back with water. Look at Norman is so sad. And now it's his turn for show and tell. He's ready to tell everyone about Norman, but look at Jenny's snake. Jenny the snake is missing. Does anyone hear the story of how I got Norman? Does anyone even ask me to hold his bowl? No, they're all jumping and screaming and chasing the snake, but not Norman. He's looking right at me. Thanks for listening, I said to Norman. Look at, he's so happy that Norman was listening to him. That afternoon, we got to go to my music lesson. As soon as it was over, I'm taking Norman back to the pet store. But then I had to take out my tuba and I began to play. I glanced over at Norman and he was swaying back and forth. Glug, 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 he mouths. Look, Norman's singing, I said. Pay attention, snaps Maestro, and try to play the proper notes. Blub, 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 blub. Okay, so he's playing his tuba and Norman is singing too. That's silly. Maestro makes me stay after for extra practice. And by the time my lesson is over, it's too late to go to the pet store. Don't think that just because you like my music that I'm going to keep you, I tell Norman. That night, I heard a sound when I was sleeping. Screech, screech. What's that noise? Scratch, screech. Yikes, there's something at the window. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I spot Norman. He's not scared. He isn't swimming around in circles. He just glugs and gives me a little wave. I'm not alone. Look at Norman's being brave. Together, Norman and I slide open the curtains and see that it was just a broken tree branch. Thanks for watching out for me, Norman. On Saturday, I take Norman to the pet store, just like I said I would. I look at the cats and the dogs and the snakes and the birds. I look at the hamsters and the mice and the lizards too. They all look like good pets, but they're not Norman. When I got Norman, I wasn't sure I wanted to keep him, but now, even if I could pick any pet in the whole world, I wouldn't trade him. Not Norman. Look at now, him and Norman are friends. Norman is happy and he's happy. Hooray! So So today we're gonna make a little Norman. You have all this in a bag. You have your little fishy body, he has a little fin, a little tail, some fishy lips, and you can put his eyeball on. When you're all done with your project, take a picture and show me.